Right, going through feedback on some of the questions on your paper. If you look carefully, I've given you a 4 out of 6. You go into some key ideas about fertile soil. You give a country name about Iceland, and about geothermal energy. Maybe you could have said here, this allows electricity production to take place. The disadvantages is where you lacked, I would say. You didn't really go into it. This point over here, some people are simply unaware. I think that's just not really giving a disadvantage. It's almost saying why they live there, because they're unaware, but that's not giving a disadvantage. We quickly mentioned deaths and injuries, but again, more disadvantages. Businesses may struggle, homes destroyed, damage to roads and infrastructure. I've also put Iceland Blue Lagoon there. If you look at the mark scheme, it says at the top over here, you can see economic activity can suffer, businesses to operate, habitats and landscapes may be damaged. Again, eruptions may trigger tsunamis. All these are good. What was I going to say? This 2 marker was a strange one. Can you see it says state 2 ways that planning might help to reduce the damaging effects. A lot of people have done this as well. Again, you don't really give me 2 ways. I've written here, you have read it wrong. You start to explain and not actually give the 2 ways. So people are aware of what to do in case of an earthquake. So you think that they already know the ways of planning, and you're just saying, actually, because the question's worded a bit different. Again, you should have said practice drills for earthquakes. That's the one I taught you, and then that's actually giving away rather than saying people are aware. But you have to say, what is the actual way? What do they learn? Is it education? People are notified through phones and megaphones in order to reinforce homes. Megaphones, that's maybe more tropical storms. But again, I know what you're trying to do. I gave it a mark. If I look at the mark scheme, it says 1.7. Again, if you look carefully, it says they could have spoke about prepare emergency aid and distribution, practice earthquake drills, plan evacuation routes, education, so they know what to do. So it's more ways. This global atmospheric circulation was pretty decent in areas of high pressure. When you describe the link between the air pressure and surface winds, you did quite well actually. In areas of high pressure, the surface winds move away and move towards low pressure, so that gets you 1 mark. So you can see areas of high pressure, they're moving away, so these are coming down. From here again, high pressure, from this part over here, 30 degrees south, they move from high to low, and you said that. But how you get the second mark is you should have said, e.g. the trade winds blow from 30 degrees north and south towards the equator. If you look at the mark scheme, again, it says here what you said, winds blow from high pressure to low pressure, e.g. trade winds blow from 30 degrees. Can you see that? Basically 1 mark for what you said, and that extra development, that D stands for development, so that gets you 2nd mark. You have to give an example. 2 markers are hard. 1.10, this one I expected a bit more. 1 I gave it. Suggest why areas close to the equator usually have high rainfall. You said at the equator there is low pressure and rising air. You didn't actually link it back to the question at all. This part is correct. Like, equator gets the greatest concentration of sun's rays, so therefore the heated air rises. Now you should know from tropical storms that heated air, rising air will do what? Again, you have to say cools and condenses. Obviously that forms clouds and thunderstorms leading to heavy rainfall. Again, look at the mark scheme. Air heated by the sun rises rapidly equator. The air cools, condenses, leads to heavy showers. This 9 marker was pretty good. Okay, so you've really started understanding about when questions that come up when it says to what extent. You've really analyzed it, you've gone into it, you've understood natural was this and that. You can see a figure here. You go really well into it. Figure 4 shows many factories which are producing gases such as carbon dioxide. You go straight into it, no waste of time. You talk about the blanketing effect. You go into this idea about the greenhouse effect, which I like. As the sun hits the rays reflected back into same, okay. Increasing global temperatures, that little link there, linking back to question. Fossil fuels also massively, that word there, massively, you know, these things are really good. Impacts this more as a trap, causing temperatures to rise. And again, you said to a certain extent, climate change is a result of human action. And maybe could this be a link question? This shows that, you know, climate change is a result. So I would have said large maybe, but I said certain. But again, that's fine, certain. But then you go into another human one. Farming is a big producer of methane. Lots of knowledge. But then again, because it's a 9 marker, there had to be something in your writing. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. But it's good because you say an increase in factories, again, worsening the effects. So your human causes of climate change was really good. However, to a large extent, really good. That, you know, linking back to the question, climate change is mainly a result of what natural processes. You go into the Milankovitch cycles, you really show about eccentricity, you also talk about axial tilt. This affects the amount of rays. So you go into that bit over there. I would have liked the volcanic eruption from the figure. I gave it a 7+3. You know, I would have, if it's there right there, I think you should have said something about it. Then it would have been really, I think I maybe would have given it an 8. The last part, I think, can you see, even though it doesn't say evaluate, but it says to what extent, which you kind of did to what extent. But again, there needs to be some form of evaluation. So what does that mean? So remember evaluation, what I said the other day about the importance, you know, why is it important? You know, not why is it important as to why human factor is important, but let's have a look. Much of the evidence that's since the start of the industrial era, overall effect of human activities on climate change has been a warming influence. So it's just like making that judgment. Maybe that could have been in your conclusion. Overall, I believe that the human impact on climate change during this period greatly exceeds that the natural processes. So you have to make a judgment. You get it, like the evaluation will be like, overall, I believe that actually it's humans that have created more, you know, have caused the causes of climate change more than the natural process. And that judgment, I think, maybe gets you that 8, 9. Again, definitely volcanic, but again, it's all about, I can see it's about space. I think maybe you could have cut out a bit on maybe one of the human and added volcano, maybe an evaluation. But yeah, well done.